Good afternoon. Spent the morning doing some freelance work, and God, yesterday I was just melting. Played a bit of altars, and did a bit of work outside of the stream. So I'll just go through that quickly. We did. So I did some design, and it's pretty basic stuff. So we've done this. This is the human town. Base. Save, yeah, definitely save. We've done the base. Give it a minute. So yeah, we've got this scene where we upgrade these buildings, and each of these buildings has 4 versions, so we upgrade through them, except for the castle, which remains the same, where we handle achievements. And each of these has its own little skill tree that you can upgrade using the currency you get from playing the game. What we want to do is do the same thing for the other factions. So the first step is to design that. So this was how I designed the human one. It didn't quite turn out exactly like this. We didn't do the gate and the tower. The houses ended up being in the background. The farms we didn't bother with. But this is basically it. And you can see this, the corresponding skill tree above it. That's how I've designed it. So what I've done is just kind of crudely made a bunch of stickies, bunch of shapes for the other factions. And it's a simple matter of thinking, okay, what do we need? So one is that we know we need 7, one being the main building, and then just to be on par with the humans. It doesn't have to be, but we found we were quite happy with 6 buildings. So we assume 6 is a good number for the other buildings. And we're thinking we want to tell a story about the culture of the faction, whilst also having one thing for each of the existing content. And the existing content may change. That's one of the funky things here. We want to be able to adapt these as necessary, but we sort of find that we can kind of fill every slot with these. You don't necessarily want like a one-to-one, like, oh, here's a building for each unit, because it might change. And I think it's fun to have that kind of lack of symmetry, a little bit of a story to like how you upgrade, the sort of path you take to upgrade and get stronger and beat the game. We have, and I kind of went through, what did I do? I had this open, sprites, characters, and I just kind of went through. I kind of looked at it and was like, oh, okay, yeah, that one looks like it could be that one. And these would go well here. So then we got each of them. So we've got for the orcs, that's the design process I took. We have the theming. It has to kind of have all the things you'd expect to see in a town. It needs to also be kind of versatile, and it also needs to match up, like each existing bit of content, each upgrade needs to fit into one of these, into at least one of these. So we've got Thunder Place for like the lightning dudes, the Fire Pit for like the fiery stuff, Chief's Tent, that's the achievements room, Grog Bar, like various upgrades and stuff, like the Glutton obviously goes in the Slop House, the Arena, that's probably where you'll get your Blade Master and stuff, and Goblin Trader for like most of the Goblin units. So I won't go through all of them. The other fun, we were going to have to do the same thing for the undead, and it's basically deciding what these buildings are, because then I can start drawing them. And the demon one, I think it would be cool if it's a tower, and rather than building, it's like these rooms in this tower, and you actually go up and down. I just thought that would be more interesting. So, lots of visual design stuff to do, which is not my strong point, but, the process begins with listing out the things that we need. And so I'm pretty much ready to get to work on the orc one. Once I do the orc one, I'll kind of know how long it takes to do a new one. We're going to be using a lot of the same knowledge that we've gained from this. So we know the resolutions, we know what kind of works and what doesn't, what level of detail we're going into. And so time to kind of crack on with that soon. The other things I did... just while I was off stream, I added a few more rocks to the map. So we go. Have a look at that. Actually, I think I kind of want to just show it live because it's nice watching it in real time with all the little animations, the chimney smoke and such. And the water, I think the water's probably my favourite bit, and the little fires are good too. And considering I've never made a map before, this is the first map I've ever made, I'm quite happy with it. This has been the labour for the past week or so. So I'm really pleased with the turnout. Yeah, we can't highlight or click on that, good. But we can highlight and click on that, good. Okay. So one of the things I did is I just copied and pasted the rocks about the place in a kind of natural, kind of organic pattern, kind of random pattern, just to kind of give it texture, as well as a few tufts of grass. Been kind of loose with the tufts of grass, like there's not that many, but I think that does kind of work. It's just a suggestion of it. We don't need one for every actual tuft of grass, you know. But we can always add more if we feel like here there's quite a few more, but I kind of, maybe I'm being lazy, maybe I'm being clever. Yeah, I think I should do a bit more. I should fill in a few of these gaps, but generally it looks good. So we can go a bit further with that. And yeah, I filled the gaps in the mountains, so before you'd see these like dodgy green triangles like there's a couple there that I missed. So we're just kind of filling each of those in. Let's go and have a look at that one then. So we're kind of there with the, yeah, I can see it from here. We're kind of there. Which mountain should I take? Let's take one of these. Just pop it in there. Quick check that it actually covered it. Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah, so, you know, that was a tedious job out of the way. And more trees at river source, so yeah, there's just added some trees over here, so that's fun. And that's where we're at. So one of the things we can do is fix the zoom. So the zoom was actually moves the camera movement, when actually what we want to do is access, I think it's called size on the camera. So that's the next thing. And yeah, it would be nice to have a little button. This is definitely not like the imperative right now, but you know, I just kind of want to work through the list that I have. So when you've got a mission selected, there should be a button that like goes to the next mission, which I just think will be handy. I don't know, I just thought of it and I thought, yeah, that's a good thing to have, and I put it on the list, so let's do it. Okay, fix the zoom though, I think that's more important. So map, zoom, okay. Okay, so that's fine. I don't know if that's ideal, but that's fine. And then it's not the field of view that's moving. It's the... or the graphic size, I guess. And so here we have it. At 10, so we don't want to zoom any further out, so I think the most you could zoom in, I think even that might be too close, so we could do it like, because you don't really need this zoom function, I just think it's nice to have that control. Should we say 7.5? Like, what's a good zoom before the details start getting a bit too stark? Maybe 5 feels good as a sort of round number, but I think 8 will do, actually. just copy what we did here. I don't know if this is the tidiest code for it, but yeah, we've got these weird multipliers all over the place. So we've multiplied that by 2 and that by 0.5, so the result will be 1. So should we just delete those for now, and then we can modify it as we go. I think it might be something to do with like controller stuff, but I did copy paste that code from earlier code that might not have been like the best code, so you know, don't sue me. And yeah, it should be as simple, just like make a button, go to the next one in the list. So yeah, simple things, get them off the list. Right. So I think there is like a better way to do this. I feel like I'm like, I need to up my game a bit with coding shortcuts, but basically so we're just going to cap it. If camera zoom is greater than 10, camera, no, it's not camera zoom. Except camera zoom, so wait, camera zoom is like how much are we zoomed in? Yeah, so that would be like, let's make it that. So it starts at 10. Camera, and then that's the part that goes smoothly, okay. It's probably not the best code, but again, it's just best not to question it because there are some bits that make it work. And yeah, we should probably do constants for that, but I don't know, yeah. Broken window theory, right? It's like, once I've done a few little silly untidinesses in my code, it's easier to like let more of them slide. But you know, it should work. It's nice, clean, easy to read, easy to edit. Okay, nothing. Interesting. Okay. Input.mouse scroll delta. So let's do okay. I think it's because camera zoom is like a public thing. So I think we can fix that easily just by saying, well, it shouldn't be public anyway. Oh, it is. Oh. So how can camera zoom? Ah, it's capped over here. Okay. Silly me. So let's give that another try. Confident this will work. Let's see. Is that nice? Is that smooth? It might be a bit slow. It might be. I might have been a bit mean with like how I think we should be able to zoom in a bit more. Yeah, let's let them zoom in a bit more. I think 5 might be fine then. Let's see. Because, you know, people will choose the zoom they want. I think, like, it is just nice to have control. It's just kind of like a philosophy of, like, game design in general. It's like, I don't know, like, let players have control pretty much at all times. That's where that whole thing of, like, and it wasn't the best thing, but it's an example, is the moving camera in, like, some of the Metal Gear Solid games where you can just move the camera at any time. And I think, it just gives you a slightly stronger sense of control. Yeah, and you feel like you're sort of in this place. I feel like this is working. So then we would go to the first mission, flavor text, and then, yeah, like little arrows here and here to cycle to the next mission. Should we just give it a little try? Since I haven't played it for a bit. Kind of missed the game. I don't want to get into balancing stuff, but yeah, I'll probably have a couple balancing notes while I'm here. Because it has changed drastically with the addition of armor, and I've reduced the amount that you heal. And also, like, I kind of want to, like, turn off, like, because now, yeah, so, like, balancing is going to be a whole thing, because I need to, for the story, let's go, let's avoid priest, because I feel like priest made it too easy. Let's just go with better soldiers. Might be a bad pick, actually. So yeah, we've got the armor system, and that means that I've gotten rid of the healing on level up, which means that like things have just completely, obviously that changes the balance of the game completely. And I need to get that right, and then the other thing I need to do is reduce the amount of units available to the ones that you start with. So not your full army, which, you know, would be another completely interesting change to the game. Will change the rate I'll have to bring out enemies and kind of where the difficulty levels are. So obviously you should be able to kind of do the first mission or do 5 minutes without any of the upgrades, just soldier. Might actually make it easier somehow because you know what you're going to get. So it's lots to balance there to make it work for the story and the progression. We might end up having it that everything's unlocked at start, but you can just upgrade things rather than you actually having to unlock the things, because that might make it, like, you know, might actually we don't want it to be balanced, so it's actually better to not fully upgrade your base, because then you can guarantee a certain outcome, you know. So yeah, lots to think about there. Let's get armor then, right? That seems like a good pick. To kind of like test if armor is like as valid as having a priest, because armor returns over time, so it's quite good for this kind of game. Makes sense. Let's go with soldier. But yeah, like I am low on health. I guess that kind of should be like that though. It makes me play a bit more on my toes. It's just so different to what it was before I made these changes to armor and level up healing. I guess attack speed is never bad. Synergizes with anything. So yeah, armor is decent. As it should be. Okay, let's get more units though. Let's get the Bannerman. That seems fun. Is he bannering? Yeah, I can see that. That's one of the major things I need to fix is the way that buffs and debuffs look on the units. That's going to really... It's really going to change the look of the game. It's really going to improve it. Oh dear, oh dear. See, yeah, we might want to have a bit more healing. But then again, that's kind of stuff we can upgrade into, you know. Yeah, okay, let's get another weapon then. But I need to hang. I want to get my armor back. But now that I have 2 weapons, it shouldn't be too difficult for me to sort of hit people before they kill these goblins before they can damage me much. But that one just did. So I'll let my army do some of the work. And yeah, let's keep going with the spear then, because I can kind of keep them at bay as long as I stay at spear range. So yeah, it's hard. I don't know if I wanted it to be this hard in this way. I like to have mages. I think having more units is good. So it's like a good early strategy to just pick units whenever it seems relevant. And then we'll pick whichever combo for the 4th slot if we get that far. But yeah, now we've got mages. Now we've got a bit of ranged power in the army. And yeah, they're armored mages because we have the talent. So let's see how this goes. I mean, one of the things we can do is just be a bit more, like drop a bit more chicken, naturally. Like have more enemies drop chicken. It would have been nice to have a chicken by now. Let's go with... That might be OP, I don't know. I kind of don't want to pick it if it's OP because I'm trying to get balance, but let's see. The more we know about our game, the better. See, I've been spending so long drawing maps and shit. I just want to get back to this side of things, like balancing the game properly and doing this kind of stuff. Yeah, okay. Let's get a nice spear. Oh dear. I just thought of something like, could it make sense if lightning was particularly effective at getting armor, and then like ice was neutral, and then fire was really good against non-armor? I'm gonna write that down because I don't know if that's just unnecessary complexity, but I think that's kind of fun. I kind of like those interactions, especially because there is a sort of rock paper scissors symmetry there. I don't know. So make lightning good against armor, ice neutral, fire weak against armor, and then to balance it you would make lightning less good against non-armor and fire. So that kind of is like that will create like faction-wide like rock paper scissors, which might not be desirable, but it could be fun. Let's put a lot of question marks there. That's way down the line. We'll deal with that later. Let's upgrade what we have. It's generally a good thing to do if otherwise uncertain. And I kind of want to hang back and see, I could get the heal. I just kind of want to... I kind of don't want heal to be absolutely necessary. Right? Like, I want it to be possible to win without picking heal. However, it's kind of the best pick at the moment. So yeah, let's learn more about our game. Like, is it that as humans, or indeed as any faction, you have to get at least one form of healing? Which, you know, might be okay, might be something I'd want to balance against. Like make healing a bit weaker, or, you know, have some kind of drawback to healing, or not. We'll see. I guess... we'll pick luck for now. Oh. I find the other thing I'm worried about is I think shields might be OP. So, yeah, lots to investigate. Well, we've kind of already committed to mixing sword and spears, so we don't need to worry about combos. But we do need to pick something to be in the 4th slot. Let's go with dagger. Just kind of like, just for like raw fighting potential now that I can kind of heal myself. And if I've got decent armor, I don't know, we'll see. We'll see if that was a good pick. Yeah, satisfying healing all my units. Okay, so yeah, our shields OP. Let's try winning without shields at least. Right, so I've got a good spear. Get that red gem. Okay. I feel like... Yeah, I do want to try and win without the shield. Because I have a feeling shield might be OP. Like, could end up cutting it entirely. Like, we're sort of still building the bones of the game before we get onto, like, the muscles and the meat. I mean, a lot of it's there. It's pretty close, but...
Babe.
Lots of things to tweak. What's this? Toys. Dead rats. Oh, wow.
Plus.
He's going to be so happy. He's found some toys on the street. That's good.
There was another bag, but I couldn't bring both of them.
Okay, yeah, let's get the hammerer, because that'll combine with... See, yeah, I made the hammerers big. Like, there's been so many weird changes to balancing. So, yeah, it should be fun, though. I'm kind of enjoying just, like, there's not really much need for me to play, but I kind of just want to finish this run at least. Until something breaks, maybe. So, we're definitely going to end up wanting to do a crit build. And then do we go for the reset or the double damage? And this makes me think about artifacts again. I always get caught like these are functionally the same, right? You're just being rewarded for doing... Thing is, if you critical reset, you could crit again, right? Which means that it will proc again, and if something else procs on it, then that's plainly better. So maybe good crit is redundant just because this is better. But I guess having the pick there, like, it's rare that you would have to pick between these. Picking between these is basically redundant, although this would be slightly better. So yeah, let's play by the rules of the game as they are. Okay, see if I can survive long enough to kill this loot goblin, get a bit of respite. Yes, a summoner, bomb. Generally get the magnet after the bomb, but yeah, we definitely want crit rate. We have a combo there so that we can make space again. Yeah, let's get a super weapon because we've got level 4 sword and spear, so we can actually combine them into something good. And yeah, generally the rule is at about the 5-minute mark you're going to want to be like finishing up your first combo. I think crit rate, since we've got that, because that applies to my whole army. Oof! Warlock! Yeah, I recently upped their... So their size is bigger, but actually to make them really work you have to up their range as well. So I did that. And I think also it works the other way, like all units have a higher effective range against bigger other units, which you know, it's just an interesting thing. I think we want to get Bannerman. We want to get close to filling our first unit combo. Oh dear, we just lost a big chunk. Oh, a glutton. Let's get him. Get that XP. Get that mana gem. Crit rate. We really want to lean. You want to lean into your artifacts, just like any other sort of roguelike. We really lean into the artifacts you have. And now I've got good survivability. I mean, that a lot of that is down to having the heal. If I didn't have the heal, I might have been dead many times over. Which kind of makes sense, but I don't know if I want that to be the case. I might want to make it more viable to not have a heal. Yeah, let's get the hammer. As much as it is tempting just to boost my healing. But yeah, so we've got a nice little army. I mean, the balance feels great right now. Like, I don't feel like I'm winning or losing too much. But I don't know if that's like, because I'm just making solid picks. Because obviously, I know what all the good picks are. Or maybe I don't. Maybe there's people who'd be better than the game than me. I'm pretty sure there will be. So tempting to get healed, but I kind of, again, for balancing run, I don't want to like have to lean into that too hard. Although maybe it is just like we need that now. No, we need stronger units. Let's get the hammer. Oof, get that bastard. Okay, oof, the spear. Spear, keep me alive, keep them at bay. Is the spear OP? I don't know. See, I can just kind of keep them at bay without taking any damage. That is until the ranged units start coming, so I do need to get on with it, get strong. So let's do hammer again, and that should be pretty damn strong. Oh! Those like boss units are so like deadly. Okay, good. Yeah, the hammer is like doing some hammering, doing big knockback moves. That's working. I want some luck. Hasn't really been doing much for me yet. Okay, there's a chicken. I want that. Okay, things are going to get only more intense. Get the greatsword. Okay, now we have a combo weapon, and now we just got this big ass, high range, high damage weapon that we are now the hero. Like the first combo we got was a weapon, so this is a kind of hero focused run. We need to get our unit stronger though. We need to get a combo unit. Okay, luck I guess, and then bang. Yeah, okay, great. Now, oof, I'm about to die though. Shit. Shit. I think it's over. But if that's kind of how a run without any upgrades should feel. You should die before the 10-minute mark. And then you go and you upgrade your units, get stronger, and then fight them back. So I'm actually kind of tempted just to jump into that kind of balancing mode actually, because basically the next thing on the list now, so what did we do? We did, yeah, I wanted to, so we fixed the zoom. I'm happy with the zoom. We want this next mission thing, not that that's crucial, but, and then a couple little bugs. And then basically I could start working on the orc base, but it might make sense just to kind of craft the first chunk of gameplay where basically you're doing this first mission against the orcs and getting enough and upgrading until you win that battle, basically. So starting with like nothing unlocked, you know, standard character completely reset. Oh yeah, we've got this issue where time stops after a mission. That's on my list of bugs. That's a really weird one. So yeah, let's get on with it then. Okay, let's nab this out of the way. Take the thing off the list. Don't need this anymore. I feel like I've got... Right. Go to next. So we want this UI. Mission panel, is that it? Yeah, mission panel. I always nest it so that... But that's kind of based on the old way I used to code. So I probably didn't need to nest it there, but there we go. This is nested. So on here, we would want another little button. What should the button look like? I guess we can just use Yeah, I can just use the standard button thing. I think we just want to have a standard button. It's been a while since I've been in my UI, but yeah, I just want something that looks like that. Smaller. Yeah, so then the image needs to be smaller. I don't know why that's not, like it should be scaled, because then it will move with the image. Oh, is that not? Oh, it's 2 images. Yeah. Got the little shadow behind it. It's probably not the most efficient way to do that, but... Okay, so then now... So actually, I don't think we do want it scaled. I'll just do it manually. Okay, that's why I didn't do it like that, because the scales aren't really quite like on par with each other. They don't work in the same way. Okay, so this should be, I guess, yeah, 70 by maybe just 100 by 100. It's not too big, not too small. Maybe the width can be smaller, because I feel like that's the kind of button. And then I guess with a controller, you would have a little icon underneath saying R1 or something, and you would press it, and then it would take you to the next mission. So I'll leave space under it for that, or would it just... Let's fix the image. Again, this isn't final. Obviously, like the what it should be is an icon pointing to the right, but that's too similar to the play button. I'm kind of like, should I just leave this for now until we've kind of got the UI a bit more sorted? I mean, yeah, it would be nice to have like go to the next mission, because then you can always find it. It's actually, no, I'm just thinking for the look of it as well. So this would have to say like go instead, and then this would be our arrow. Or we'd have like a hollow arrow. Maybe that would fix it. I don't know if I've already got that in my symbols. No, we don't have a hollow to the right yet. No, I'm just going to leave it for now and take it off the list. That's like nice to have, not crucial. Currency text. Yeah, and I think these are both to do with the same problem. So the time scale, after I play a match, and then I think after like the game over screen, the time scale changes back to, so time scale, let's just find all instances where time scale equals 0. Upgrade icon. Okay, I'm not going to question it, but okay, yeah, we need to stop the timescale to open the encyclopedia tab, I guess. Is that wise? I don't know. I'm not going to question too much. This is all stuff I did in the past. I don't always understand it, so I don't question it, but options menu, load wave. So I don't know which it is, actually. I thought it would be like game over screen. Yeah, I think, yeah, it's this one. It's this one. Although that's... That's just when we slow down time to like accentuate the ending. So why does it fit? Why does time feel like it stopped? I feel like that's what's happening. I feel like that's why the birds aren't flying and stuff. So I'm just going to make like a little, just to test that theory before I get too invested in it. Because the thing is, I've already set it up so that time scale equals 1 when we start. But I'm going to make a button. So do we have an update method in here? Yeah. So if input.getKey down, I don't know, t time scale equals f. See if that's what, because it might be that whatever's stopping time, it's like somehow it's stopping it before this scene is loaded, which kind of makes sense if we look at, but yeah, no, because I don't know which. Yeah, let's just see if this is even the problem before I get too confused about it. Okay, so save all this. Okay. So how do I replicate this as well? Because I think I have to, let's see if I can lose quickly. I should probably have like a function for this, like kill self, but I mean, yeah, maybe I should just go ahead and do that. I could just turn speed up and just fight with no care for myself and choose bad upgrades. Okay, so we die. And then we finish, go back to the map screen, and all the clouds and birds have stopped. So if I press T, returning timescale to 1, that does nothing. So why isn't this flying? I mean, I don't see why that wouldn't be working. So it must be time.delta time. So what is making time? So I'm going to have to do that again. So we go back to map and just check that if this has actually worked. Debug.log time.timescale. Just see. So maybe it's nothing to do with timescale, in which case I'm not sure what it is. I'd be quite confused. But I'm confused if it is timescale, because I'm pretty sure there's nothing setting timescale to 0. And yeah, should we do oh yeah, we've already got one, take damage. So I can just damage myself. Is that for me? Yeah, that's, so it'll be character container dot take damage. It's funny though, I've got them both looked to T, but they're different scenes, so. Ah, what a mystery. I still prefer this to drawing. I quite enjoy the mystery actually. So birds are flying fine. Go into a match. And then we press T to take damage. Oh, would it not do it if I'm going to die? Oh, I think it had like invisibility frames or something. Never mind, it worked. So then everything's frozen. The timescale is indeed 1. Unless like something else is actively turning it back to 1. So it's not timescale. So why isn't it moving? Why has it stopped moving? GM.paused. Why is it even on GM.paused? Ah, that's so silly. Yeah, obviously it's that. So it's not time. It's not timescale. There's no pause in the map, but apparently GM.paused can still be accessed. GM.paused is false. I think that's going to fix it. So that's just my own version of pause. Okay. I just didn't realize I'd told the cloud movers to not move when something's paused, but when it's paused. So, wait, I just want to get rid of that cheat then. We'll get rid of this, what I put in the update. Just comment it for now. Okay, yeah, I'm pretty sure this is going to work now. Yeah, I don't know why. I think it's because it's the same, because it's me starting to get a bit more clever and being like, hold on, I can make a universal make thing move over time slowly thing for clouds, birds and stuff like that, and I can use the same one for the scene as the other ones. But yeah, I guess I would have told it to pause because I noticed it moving while the game was paused and said, oh, don't do that. But then that means it happens here as well. So yeah, silly me. Okay, so we go into a match. Reproduce the bug. Go into a match. And then quickly. So I feel like I shouldn't, like YouTube guidelines. I quickly reduce my HP to test what happens when my HP reaches 0. And they're moving. Good, we fixed it. What a crucial bug. But that would be the moment, like if you're playing the game, you're playing the demo or something, and you get to that bit, you're like, this developer doesn't really care. I'm not going to care then. You know? People's time is precious. Right. So that, and I think that, wait, shall we, I guess we need to test that? Okay, yeah, no, that is still red. So something's going, because it's not red before a match. Let me just test that. So these things weren't linked, maybe. I don't know why that number ends up being red. Okay, it is just red naturally, so I think I'm just being silly then. So... yeah, it's just red. Okay, I'll just change that so that doesn't bother me. That doesn't make much difference. Let's get it done. Currency text, vertex color, 0.2. So black basically, or white. I think white. I'm not even going to check. That'll do it. Okay. All right, fixed and fixed. Okay, so the next thing is work on the orc base. So start drawing the things for that. And I kind of wanted to do that just to get them all out of the way. So here's a fork in the road. So like option A is I start work on the orc base and I go through the bases, draw all the things so that we've got bases down, and then that side of the game is done and we can sleep easier, right? And that's just like a big chunk of stuff out of the way. It would be good. And it's good to stack these drawing jobs. It just makes life easier for me and not having to change hats so often. The other thing I can do is actually develop the story and the balance of the game up until the point where you switch over to play as the orcs. The reason for that is because then I might find problems. I might find things that I want to change, like, oh, I want to change this unit, and I might end up wanting to change the buildings and even the whole way that system is done. In which case, if I've set that up for the orcs, then that'll be kind of wasted, like, because I'll have done it wrong. So I need to test it before I assign it to each thing. The thing is, there isn't that much before you play as the orcs. The story very much bounces between those two characters quite quickly. So I think I found a middle ground. I'm going to do it up until the undead. So I'm going to make the orc base and get that all set up based off of the design that I've done so far. I'm going to set up the orc base. And then for the undead, I'll do that after. And then basically, I'll play the game and get it working. So actually, before I do the next bases, I kind of just want to see if there's anything I can just like nudge off the list here and kind of do a bit of list sorting. So we finished this job that we had, which is make the first base and make the map. The map's looking good. So level 2 enemies balancing. Yeah, so balancing. I do have this here on the list. Let's not question the order. Otherwise you spend forever changing the order of your list. Okay. So yeah, there's also a fundamental thing I want to change about the balancing. And oh god, this is a brainy one. Because at the moment... So let's close a bunch of scripts. Let's have a slightly fresh plate to deal with. So enemy spawner. And so when the enemy spawner spawns an enemy, well, like, I can explain a bit about how this works. So like we have rare list, normal list, like, and it just determines like the rate and the type of units that spawn, right? So like the rare list that spawns less often, the common list that spawns more often, and that's like your archers and your melee. And it kind of, at the moment, like for what we had, like, and I spent a long time doing this, like it works. It works. Like not all of them are the same, but it works. And basically we had this problem, which is the difference between an orc and a goblin, or the difference between an orc and a human. It's like an orc has to be stronger and with more HP, but obviously this is a game, things have to be balanced. I didn't drink any of my tea. Has to be balanced. We make the orc spawn in less quickly. But now we've got armor. And the orcs won't have armor, but the humans do. So now they're kind of on a more even playing field. And basically I've got this kind of funky way that I've balanced it, and it's quite a bit to untangle. So we have like a unit can be like a brute. Shit, this script is way too long. But yeah, this has all the characters, quite a lot of them. So what do we have? Brute. And they also have levels. Okay, so I've got this idea of this brute as like a tougher enemy. And I kind of just want to change the way this works, because it works for the... Or maybe I don't. Maybe it's fine. I don't know. Like, a brute has better drops. It drops more XP. Even though technically it's on the same tier as another unit. Like, so think of the difference between an orc and a goblin. Orc is better. So we have to make it spawn in slower, or we have to make it drop more. It could even spawn in the same rate, but drop more, because then there's the reward for fighting the stronger enemy. But that actually means that fighting against stronger enemies is better because you're going to get your XP quicker. So it's like it's turned into a balance conundrum. So I need to kind of untangle it and make it work again. Yeah, so it increases the item chances and the XP, so throwing balance off. And so we've got this thing, what is it? Add buff. No? Where do we give them the buff? Character. Spawn character. And then where do we add? Is that, did I end up putting that in here? So this is the script that like spawns a unit. Have I already gotten rid of it? So we want to find the bit that spawns. We want to find the bit that. Yeah, what was the buff called? So there's a buff that's applied to units that are like supposed to be stronger. And we give it to the orcs. So yeah, we just kind of want to cut that. So yeah, okay. Enemy buff. Okay, so this happens in GM, and this is if it's... Okay. Apply effects from upgrades. So this depends on whether we're on the player team or on the enemy team. If it's the enemy team, then we check their level, and we decide what buff they get depending on their level, right? And this was also a way to make the looters absurdly strong. So on the player, on your own team, a looter is just like it's a melee unit that's going to pick up stuff for you. On the enemy team, a looter is this big guy that comes in with lots of HP that's like a piñata. But I'm actually going to change that to be like the enemy hero. So that's why we're here. Lots of little things like that to change. So basically, I want to kind of scrap this, and I want to rethink the way level works. Yeah, I think that's what I want to do. So, like, we can kind of be quite aggressive with our changes because we know that it's good. Like, the balance is going to be all over the place. So we shouldn't do this incrementally. So this all has to go. And then we have character level equals, and then like level for a character that applies to the player character, but shouldn't apply to anyone else, except that. This is going to be annoying to have to do. Like, should a hammerer level 2 drop more loot than a hammerer level 1? At the moment, not really. That's not how it works. Let me double check again, just to have... where do we drop the loot? Where do we drop the loot? I know it's somewhere. Where did I name it? Drop item. Okay, here we go. I'll just put that. So it's, yeah, the loot depends on the level, right? And so it's a way that we say, like, not all units, even if they're the same tier, are equal. But as a reward, you get, like, more points, which just, yeah, I think it's just a bad system. It's just going to make the balancing all over the place. So I kind of want to get rid of it. And I think, like, why else would we need level? The only character that needs level is the main character. And then as far as, like, determining what loot is dropped, Except we're kind of changing that anyway, and you could do it on like HP or something, but like... No, I think all units should be equal. Like, I think a goblin shouldn't be like worse than an orc necessarily. Like, we can change their spawn speed. See, I'm getting lost in the weeds thinking about this. This is going in kind of loops, but it's like the cleanest form is that they're all just kind of balanced somehow, and then I don't need to make any of them drop more loot than others. Loot drop is just dependent on like how far along we are, so they just drop more and more loot over time. The other one is that they're not balanced, and both on the player side and the enemy side they spawn in slower, and those ones drop better loot. And then the question is, okay, which units have that effect? Because if an orc, if a soldier is now as good as an orc, because it's got armor, and the orc doesn't get armor, like, yeah, maybe the orc isn't that much better. And again, like, the thing is, at the moment it's kind of working, but maybe that is the trick I need to, like... So we just get rid of this level thing, and we kind of drop loot based on, like, HP. Or we keep the level thing. So yeah, and how have I done it? I've done it in a clever way, so if I change the level... So, like, the hammerer shouldn't be level 2. And then there's even thinking about, like... So they spawn in a different way. That the enemies spawn on a coroutine. That the allies spawn, like, one by one. And we need the enemies to spawn as groups like that. So maybe this is all just fine. Like, I do have a question mark on this. Yeah. Because it feels right now. That's the thing. It's not broken. It's just like... This doesn't feel like the best way to balance things. You know, this kind of like... I feel like I'm... You know? I feel like it's... that's not the cleanest way to balance it. Let's do this then. Enemy hero to replace loot goblin. So... Yeah, so we don't want this anymore. We kind of just want the looters to appear normally, or like maybe they just work on different rules. Maybe we still have them, but in a different form. So I won't get rid of that. And at the moment we just like spawn in a looter like at forced intervals. But I do actually want it to be like the enemy hero, because I think it has more of a fun like versus vibe, and like make that the reward, which kind of makes looters a bit weird. Like a loot goblin should be something you attack. It shouldn't just be something like it on your team it gathers things for you. On the enemy team it drops lots of loot. I kind of wanted to change that to be like the enemy hero that you're fighting, because I think that's more cool for the story and whatnot. So that's why these were kind of on the later list, as these are sort of big design questions that I'm not sure I want to change. Let's just... I'm just going to put these later, because I think these are like... Is there anything else I can do before this that isn't like dependent on this? Okay, yeah, there was an issue, and let's see if I can replicate this. It's like basically we load the scene and we initialize upgrades. In fact, I think I can just... I think we just need like a loading screen at start, basically. So we don't have loading screen connected to this, but basically for any of the buttons, play game, open options, or just for play game, like we kind of want to say like if upgrades dot initialized Otherwise, don't. And so let's just test that quickly. Because yeah, I would start the game, quickly get into a match, and then he would have no weapon. And I think that's because I need to wait for upgrades to initialize. There's been all kinds of refactorings. Yeah, I really need to think about those balancing questions I was thinking of. It kind of sounds like I'm rambling, and I guess I am, but they are important questions. Did that... Do I need to be quicker on the draw? Okay. So then if I quickly start a match... I mean, if it doesn't happen, then I'll call the bug done. Okay, it didn't happen. If it happens again, I kind of know where to start looking, but we will say that is done. Mustn't use while loop on targeting and weapon cooldowns. Yeah, because I think that is messing with things. But you know what? I haven't seen any problems there for a while. But let's honor the list. So this is quite a funky one though. So while... Actually, it's not there, is it? It's in GM. Yeah, so... No, where do I have it? Did I already do this, maybe? Oh, I can't remember the name of the script I'm looking for. Update characters, that's the one. Yeah, update characters. Yeah, it's a for loop. Okay. So, yeah, would it be better to make a temporary list? Because the thing about these is I think some like this ends up being different by the end of it, and then it can cause strange issues. So what I might want to do... So yeah, let's find instances of this. Because I think there's more than one. Like, would it be... Yeah, since we're only doing this like for the loop. So we go for each... Wait, so we make a new list. Which already is maybe wrong, but... We can store it somewhere. List... Character... Container... What do we call it? New list equals... Yeah, so basically... For each... to write this to accommodate for my earlier mistakes, my earlier bad code, because this should say character container, but it doesn't. Instead, it says character. But just bear with me. just so I don't have to change the whole thing. We can always fix that later. Because basically, like, we can't do anything to the things in a for each, because if it changes or gets removed from the list because it's damaged or something, then it can't complete. But if you make a new list, and then we might have to do a couple checks, but like, yeah, we already ask if character is dead, so that should cover it, to be honest. And then basically we put that. That should do it, and we've got a couple of those. This is fine, although, yeah, I haven't noticed any issues with that, so that must be working fine. Why did I want to do this? I think because it can. I think this is just a better way to do it. It's cleaner, and I think there are sometimes people attacking the floor and stuff too often. So character to remove. Yeah, okay. Update all targets. So this is another one. I think this is the real one, actually. And then we've got... I know that this is horrendous, but we've got... Yeah, for movement and their weapon attacks. And then didn't I have a copy for the player, or did I fix that? I know I made some mistake, like I copied myself. Update hero. Yeah, this is where I've got a copy, except... Okay, but it works differently, so we don't actually have to make the new list. Alright, yeah, so that's horrendous code, because that's basically a copy of what's happening. But just, I can't remember why, but in the time it was easier to do it like that. But then for update all targets on a team, yeah, we do want to make this. So we want to do the same thing again. Should I do it from scratch, or should I get what I copied, what I did earlier? So we make new list. And then we just replace that with that, and then that should work out the box. Okay, and then the other thing I want to ask is, like, yeah, so this list character contain a new list. Can we store that? So I don't think we want to be creating and discarding a list. And does it make sense here? Yeah, I guess we should do it here as well. But then we would need a different list for each of these instances. So yeah, bad code is catching up to me. Update buffs, probably fine there. Fixed update for the movement. Scenery. UI. Chain. Initializing objects, yeah, that's all fine. So it's just here. There we go. And then I will go and do all these new lists. So yeah, it was here. So actually, yeah, that was the last place we wanted to put it. And then so I guess, yeah, I guess I want to store each of those lists. I'll just store them up here for now because it is a mess. So I'm not going to bother being tidy from now. But yeah, so we have, I don't know what to call them. Private list, character container. Fixed update character list. Like that. It's a slight optimization to just give less work to the garbage collector. You don't want to be creating a list every frame that you can and then discarding it. You should have one stored. So I just need to do that for each of these. Yeah. Pasted, yeah. Public, private. I'll just write this out again. Character container. Shit, I wonder if I'm just worried that these could actually overlap each other because we do like several teams at once. So actually, I'm just gonna leave that for now, and we'll see. At some point, I'll go through this code and want to tidy it and do optimizations where I can. But for now, I think that's achieved what we wanted. If the garbage collector ends up too busy, then we'll fix it. Okay. Combo shouldn't show for already. You see, I thought I had that. So yeah, this is a nice little bug to fix. So on upgrades panel. Okay, it's still in GM, so yeah, we probably should move some of this stuff out of GM. It's getting a bit crowded, and it'll be easier to sort of go through the code. But for now, yeah, this is show upgrades. Okay, yeah, that makes sense there. But level up UI. That's what it's called. Okay. Yeah, so combo found. And there should be a part where we say here where we show, yeah, so we do combo found. And we make a thing that shows that there's a combo. Should that not be, so this is doubled up here. It's like just based on whether it's the first, like, so it works in both directions basically, like the combo can work in any order. This should probably just be like if combo found, then, so why wouldn't it be like that? This should be better, right? Should be cleaner. Does that work? Is there anything that doesn't? My upgrade. So we determine my upgrade. I'm just going to leave it how it was. Like that might be cleaner to do it like that, but for now, let's just embrace the spaghetti. Just double up on it. So I thought I had done this before. I just want to say. So then it's the if my upgrade. Then it's like, yes, we've got a combo, but I want to say if so my upgrade is the one that was the combo. So we want to say if gm.c.player my upgrades dot contains dot I dot names is equal to no, it's so that my upgrade is the other one that it can combine with. So where's the one that it combines into? Yeah. So this should be doing that. If my upgrades. So if I haven't got the thing, if this upgrade that we're looking at, if I haven't got it, so if player.myupgrades first the default, that name is the same as this name. Oh, but it would have to be for the other parts of the combo. I see. Because I could have one that isn't part of a combo. Um, okay, that should work. I'm going to let that test. I mean, yeah, I guess I could test it now. I feel like that's going to work, because that's like saying, does it contain the name? So, and I should be clear on this code, but yeah, we have for each upgrade and all upgrades, it's like if that upgrade is a combo, then show the combo. If we've already got that up, then and we've got the other half of that combo, then show the combo. If we've already got the upgrade that is the combo, we don't even get that far. But I could have the upgraded version of the combo, which would mean that it's not checking that that has a combo, basically. So I want to check, does the upgrade that I have the name in it? Does my name contain that name? Because it would be like armor 2 contains the word armor. So, yeah. Worried that could affect other upgrades? No, other upgrades don't work in that way. Okay, good, yeah. I'm confident that's going to work. Let's test it. I'll just do a bunch of level ups. Check my cheat is working. Yeah, it's working. Level up. Might be quite hard to test, actually. So I need to get a combo, and then I need to start building that same combo again and see if it shows me the alert for it. Oh, come on. Well, now. Silly mistake. Easy fix. Yeah, and before I get onto any big balancing stuff, I want it to work between the orcs and the humans. So yeah, I can update my to-do list to reflect that. Basically be like, okay, orc base. So this would go down somewhere below. Yeah, it's quite hard to test actually because I would want to have those empty slots. Can I just... I need to have a button to like re-roll for myself. I mean, I'm confident this is going to work. So I would want to combine... Yeah, so we combine that, and then I want to basically get the sword again. Or the spear. Okay, so the spear's saying it will combine... Yeah, okay. But now I have to... Wait. Why can I... Oh, because I pressed level up before... Okay. Still not sure how I'm actually going to get this testing environment sorted. Yeah, so we find them up. I want to have an empty slot, empty weapon slot, and then have the sword come up. But I haven't actually, so there's an empty weapon slot, and then I just need to keep picking any other thing. I guess we can try like, oh wait, no, it's not going to work. Never mind, boots. I need to see the sword. There's the sword, and I've got the spear, and I've already got the sword plus spear, so it doesn't show. Good, okay. I can confidently say that was clear. There probably should have been an easier way to test that, but fine. Okay, good. So just knocking random shit off the list. Getting some stragglers. Picking some low-hanging fruit, you know. Buffs being removed. Okay, so this counts as an undead thing. This is an undead thing. Let's apply. Oof, yeah, and the shield coming upside down thing. This can just be a loose note. That doesn't have to be like code. This I'll put down. Because again, like, I don't want to focus too much on that if that ends up changing. And I'm going to know if that changes based on, like, after playing with the orcs and humans for a bit longer. Seeing if the story kind of works as it is, all of that, you know. Make talent supply. So yeah, that can just be a thing there. SFX. Yeah, we can catch up with SFX. I can make a session of that. Okay, so then we do have this, and I think this is important. But that comes after, because I'm just putting it off because it's just such a tricky brain puzzle. Such a crucial bit of design. For something that's kind of working, you know. And then stages. Yeah, I mean, I can just knock that one out. And I kind of know that the stages are going to be what they are. So I'm going to put that here. So we're just reorganizing our list again, even though I said I didn't want to do that too much. And then we can do a whole bunch of visuals. So we're putting off the undead base and the demon base, and we're kind of that's going to give us the mental space to sort of do another lap round, basically. Yeah, stages, visuals. I think visuals can come before stages, actually. And then, yeah, basically, when I look at my to-do list, I don't question it. I just do the next thing, rather than getting overwhelmed by it all. Yeah, some of these are just not that important. Okay, so I'll make this clear in the list. This is like test orcs versus humans. And I can do UI glow up before I move on to the undead. Make lightning good against armor. Yeah, I quite like that idea actually. Tier 3 combos. I think at the moment that's almost DLC, if ever. So yeah, just kind of tidying up the to-do list. Great turnout today. Thanks for everyone. Thanks everyone who's joining. Yeah, I mean, it's been making this whole game on stream. Well, most of it anyway. And yeah, it's fun. I'll have a record of the whole thing. It'll be fun time lapse one day, just watching the whole game get made. So yeah, I can do an SFX run optimization. So yeah, I've kind of okay. We're gonna do the orc base, and then I think on Monday I'll do this. Like I need to like clean up the balancing. I'll need to get on the mirror board and I think focus on that completely. God, it's bloody hot today. It's 2:30. It's bloody boiling. Yeah, okay, let's start doing that then. Let's do some orc walls. I do kind of want to do the balancing thing, but okay, let's just right. So first thing, yeah, I'll make a new thingamajig. In fact, we don't need this one right now. We'll grab bases. So at the moment it's all in a big open one. So we will make a new one called... How did we have it? Annual buildings. Okay, so yeah. Don't actually have a name for the orc camp. I mean... Yeah, orc. War camp. One word, I guess. I don't know. So we have war camp and we have war camp buildings. Oh no, I'm making it. Save as. Can always change the name, but this will do for now. I don't want to dwell on those things. Okay, and then the other thing I want to do... Actually, I want to import this one. I mean, it's not really necessary, but... Just to get the... And actually, just probably easier just to do a save as. And make that this. So we've got our sizes, we've got all our things ready. We've got our sort of template to work with. Kind of makes things easier. So the first thing then would be the chief's tent. So let me get my mirror back. And so yeah, I'm just going to be working off of this list. What should I work on first? Chief's tent, grog bar, slop house, arena. Chief's tent kind of seems like the most natural. I guess these are all just bloody tents. So here we go. We're putting on our artist hat for a bit. Yeah. So just a quick reminder. I mean, I guess they're all tents. That's one thing. They're all basically tents. They're all buildings that won't have been designed to be there for very long, unlike these ones, except for the tent, which is the barracks. So, like, the chief's tent, and let's just remind ourselves of what we've done with the actual external of the building. bases. There. So that's already a bit dated. Like we can do, obviously we're going to have to be a higher resolution. But that is the tent, basically, that we're sort of mimicking as being in the center. It's the same rule with the human one. We kind of like, the map icon for this is basically that tower, but with the wall around it. So in this case, it's going to be like, something like that. And I think that works like with the skull on the top. So if we imagine just like the castle tent. So we'll keep our reference. Do I have to? Yeah, let's copy this then. I have to go all the way down to the bottom to add a new frame. That's silly. Right. So a tent. So we'll take our black line, or our slightly off black line. It doesn't matter which layer we're on. There's just two for like the occasional bit where it comes in handy. So like it's going to be something quite similar to this. And unless we want to go for like teepees, which is a bit, you know, like, are orcs like Native Americans or something? Or are they like druids? Or are they, you know, I guess they're like primitive. So how do you say primitive? What's the difference between this tent? Someone said this looked like a circus tent. Or like a party tent. But, you know. So I'm going to look up some images of orc tent. Just see what comes up. So like the shape is different. So it has that, this has like a sort of flat top. This would have like a pointy top, right? With our ornament at the top there. So something like that. Maybe like grander, taller. And then here we've got our like skull. Let's just kind of start blocking that out. Obviously this isn't final, we just want to get the shape. Because now here it looked fine, but now you actually think, okay, let's zoom in on that. Hold on a sec, that skull must be massive. Right? And then you think like, what kind of skull would it be then? Would it be like a dragon skull that the guy like brings around with him the whole time? So I don't know, some kind of ornament. I think a skull works. I'm looking at some of the like we definitely have these things with the spikes, and we should somehow get across that there's more than one. So like, yeah, maybe that's like that. So we'll have to change this to reflect what we've done here, because we're kind of, this was done in a few seconds, you know, without much thought. I'm not putting tons of thought into this. It's just, you know, it's got to be something, right? I think that perspective is way off. So it would need to be much more like... Or does it look like... I think that feels like we're looking up on it too much. But yeah, we would have these like big bones kind of holding the thing up. So I guess they would have a bone shape. So that makes sense. And then you just continue the bone. Yeah, like it's wrapped onto it. And then that's like that. Except, see, I'm crap at drawing. I really am crap at drawing. How do I do this? So we've got a big old door, actually. Like, it doesn't have to be a tent flap. It can be an actual, like... I think one thing about the orc stuff is I should never use perfectly straight lines. I should always do kind of do it by hand. And then, yeah, some like big old horns up here. To kind of frame the entrance, and then that would come up like that, right? There'd be a line connecting that. Maybe there'd have to be slight more of a curve to it. Okay, yeah, and I think that the perspective is starting to feel a bit better now. So yeah, we've got these big bones sticking out. I guess actually these would be the sharp bits. Like that. And then I guess a line like this. No. What would the line be like? It might hang down a bit. Yeah, I think this should be a dragon skull. I don't know how to draw a dragon skull. But I guess it would have like... maybe some kind of great beast. Just really like scribbling it at the moment. And then yeah, this would come down at the sides. I wonder if it feels too intimate, like actually we're too close. Compared to a castle, right? Compared to that, this feels like we're much closer in. So if we were to actually have that to scale, okay, well let's try with some colors. So I think we kind of want kind of a leathery. I think this is like some kind of leather or hide, right? So I don't know. Let's just start blocking it out, and then we can get more detailed on the colors. I think we have a fairly standard bone color. So then we start to see this. Yeah, so what about this shape? Yeah, I think let's go with yeah, because this is not connected. This is not a single piece of bone. And yeah, of course, once we add shading and stuff like that, it's going to look a lot better. And then would we see a little bit of like the back? Do a bit better with the horn. There we go. Nothing's final. Yeah, I think that works. Maybe a bit lopsided, but maybe that's fine. So obviously this looks like very awful, crude MS Paint stuff. And I'm not saying it's going to get a lot better, but it's going to get a bit better, at least. Add some shading, but we're just kind of getting the basic shape. And like, yeah, this is the kind of thing we want to do. I think let's get our leather, and I think we would have like, it would be darker on the top. Okay. I think this is basically turning into a tent entrance. I think that just kind of tells you that it's an entrance. We do definitely want to do a bit more intelligent shading. kind of like, yeah, we just shade it on the sides here. And then let's do, so yeah, we're like, these are definitely two different like forms of hide. And I think this actually might help to kind of make it feel like the bones are holding the thing up. Right? So let's do the first one again. So yeah, right from the bottom. And then we just kind of extend that a bit. So you can really kind of feel the weight of like, yeah, it's kind of draping over a bit. Yeah, I'm getting better at this whole art thing. I'm not saying I'm great, but I'm quite happy with some of these decisions. I just feel like I'm way more informed about what I'm trying to do here than I have been in the past. Yeah, and we do a similar thing here. Okay, let's get an off bone. I think that these the headpiece really needs to be. I mean, I want them to look like not symmetrical. I guess we're just getting like a starting point. So So yeah, let's do a bit better with the headpiece then, because I think that's important. And actually, the fact that it's a skull, even if it's like a dragon skull, kind of really messes with our sense of size for it, I think. So what goes here? A totem? A dragon skull? I mean, we haven't got dragons in the game. I'm not sure if we're planning on including dragons. Oh god, you and that bloody bear woman. Wait, are you saying that this TP looks fine? Because that would be nice. Because I'm not sure about it. It kind of looks maybe a bit like a brown mess. Like a poo on top of another poo. I don't know. Or is it just like this is the crude, kind of fairly impressive tent of the orcs? I mean, we can keep adding to it, or are we just way off? Like, we can do a fair bit of shading here. It's a good sense of detail. It's a good place to put it. TP, oh good. I'm glad if it's working out, if it's looking okay. Because I think some of the other ones are more interesting to draw. Okay, what kind of... should we just do dragon head? But if we're doing that, like, it could be a demon head. So the way I draw demons, I like these big sort of crescent eyes with little noses like that, and then But then that's too like I am a demon, you know. If we imagine that this is like a because the tent is never going to be the same size as the castle, is it? But it feels a bit weak to be like. But yeah, I mean, there's just differences, aren't there? The orcs don't live in big castles. Their strength is in their bodies, so their architecture isn't going to be like as impressive. If this feels like it's closer and we put it closer to the camera in the foreground, it should look fine. And we've got like a big ass tent. So yeah, if we add the skull at the top, it's harder to imagine. What about an elephant skull? Because we've already got like these tusk type things. So let's continue with what we've got there. So elephant skull. Elephant skull. So it's kind of like, and let's try and be symmetrical. Or somewhat symmetrical. I think I have drawn an elephant skull before. I've tried to. And then if it's almost like connected in some way to these tusks that come out. Got this big old like gap in their nose, so the eyes come out like this. This could look cool. I'm just drawing what I'm seeing on Google Images. And I think it probably should be more symmetrical than I'm doing it. Okay, this is why it's nice to have other layers. Just to play with. So we can draw freely without worrying about messing with what we've got there. So in fact, on layer 1, let's like kind of very crudely finish the TP. Let's just finish the shape. Because we're going to have like an ornament on top which is going to hide most of this, but it's just kind of a bit easier to look at than just that big old gap poking out. Okay. All right. So then on this layer, big old like skull. And yeah, like an elephant skull. I think if I make it too much like an actual elephant skull, it might just look weird, but essentially they look pretty gnarly actually, elephant skulls. Just like a little bit of what we've got there. And this is the one that jumps out, like this shape that could be attempted that might look cool. Although maybe we do want something that's just a bit more of like some kind of angry skull. But that's too big. That makes the building look small. I think the elephant skull just looks weird, especially the way I would draw it. Maybe not. Let's pursue it. Okay, so we would want to give that like bone color, and then we would have like darker bone color for the covered bits. And then like actual like ones are weird. You see how you got like the front bit and then you got the teeth behind it. It looks really gnarly. Kind of reminds me that elephants have teeth, which kind of makes me a bit uncomfortable. And yeah, we would probably end it around here. I mean, maybe this just looks cool. Like, to me, it just like, because I haven't really successfully conveyed. The thing is, an actual elephant skull doesn't really convey elephant, in my opinion. Like, I think very few people will look at an elephant skull and be like, oh yeah, that's what I expected that to look like. Oh yeah, that's clearly an elephant skull. Like, I don't think that happens. I think elephant skulls are weird looking. Yeah, what if it was like... Because that ends up looking like a heart or something. Right? So I don't know if this is working. So a bit of shading usually helps make something look good. I'm kind of seeing like an alien head with a little smiley mouth and big boggly eyes. So I'm not getting elephant at all. But what if... And I think adding to it will just compound that. Like, it will just look like an even more gnarly alien head. But maybe that's just me. What if it had horns, like, somewhat inexplicably? What if I could somehow make it more angry looking? What if I could delete the idea that this is a smiley face? That kind of... No, now it looks like not a smiley face, but like a sort of battle face. But I might have just gone off the rails too much there. Like, what if this is like this? Just to kind of beat that. And then like... So it's like they killed some kind of horned elephant and then decided to like drag its skull across the sea to be an ornament on their thing. I mean, we don't need to ask too many questions about what this is. Like, it's not going to come up. But I think the fact that we've kind of gone through this process of like drawing, like trying to draw something like a bit gnarly, like not just a skull, but some kind of weird elephant skull, I think that's done something. And then with the horns, it's like no longer the alien, because why would the horns be coming out of the alien's eyes? And are those little feet? I don't know. I was tempted to actually... I think I'm getting more into pixel art as I go. But this kind of helps really make them feel like hollow eyeball sockets. And then like all together it looks quite sinister, I think. Maybe not. Yeah, I think they were fine just with the black there. Do we want a bit of this? Yeah, kind of looks like maybe they defeat, like, so now it's like that's probably a demon. Okay, you know what? Like, it's not the most amazing orc tent in the world, but I think that's enough to be getting on with. Should I do a bit more shading here? Okay, so if we said that's the main building, and then we want to work on, so yeah, what is our like main building here? Which one should we work on next? I kind of partly doing it by preference of what I want to work on. The grog bar. So again, they're all tents. That's the kind of boring thing, is that they're all just tents. But how do you make a grog bar? What makes that look good? What's going to make it obvious that this tent is for feeding? I'm gonna have a look at some inspiration. So like Warcraft 3 orc buildings. Can I get like a list of them? And just have a little look. Like obviously I'm not going to copy any of them. I don't want to get sued, but I want to just have a look. Because you've got like Voodoo Lounge, Spirit Lodge, and they kind of have different feels to them. Altar of Storms. So they're really kind of obvious from the outside. Bestiary. So obviously we've gone for like completely different ones, but it is nice to see. Shit, do I have more buildings than Warcraft? That's a bit crazy. Maybe I should have. I think they've got 6 as well. Watchtower, except they have watchtowers. It's not exactly the same. Like an easier one to think of would be Fire Pit, because you just have like a big old fire, definitely animate it, with like some sort of totems around it, but it's just a big old fire. That's literally all it is. You start small, you go to a big old fire. And then the arena is like, and again, it will start as like a little open sand pit, and then eventually becomes. So shall we try working on that? So yeah, we can actually start to just delete these like placeholder bits. We can always grab them if we need them. So we'll do like, and just really blocking it out at the moment. What color is sand? What color is our sand going to be? Kind of like bone, but maybe a bit darker. And we just got like a circle of sand. I don't know. Yeah, there you go. Done. Artwork. It's just a blob. I mean, easier to imagine like, so here's the base of the arena, and then like here's, so like a football field almost. And again, like I'm so shit at drawing, I don't know what this circle should look like in relation. So I'm going to go look at the Colosseum on Google Images. And so we have like, I mean, yeah, kind of actually, we've got that sphere, and then we have just one above it, but like maybe inwards a bit. Inwards? Because again, we are kind of, yeah, we're sort of limited to what we can do with perspective, which is something that's like, I hadn't really thought about a lot before. But yeah, it should be wider because there'd be, so that would be the outer bit, and then this would be the actual sand. No. Yeah, so you would see. God, I'm so bad at this. And like, yeah, for these ones, they've all been pretty much like, so in order to really see an arena, you need to kind of see it from above. Otherwise, it's just like a wall. But that's kind of been the case with all of these. But like, yeah, these kind of are just like the front walls of buildings. It's just you can tell what they are by looking at the front wall. Whereas an arena would just look like it would just be a wall. Like, so we can kind of have a little like yeah. So I guess you would have your sand pit like that with maybe your like observation bit up here. And then how do you show that this is like so then yeah, I guess you would have like where the spectators are. I mean, we're not talking like Rome's Colosseum here. We're just talking like a little spot where people can fight. So yeah, what would the chairs look like from that perspective? So yeah, we've got what would the edges of the seats look like? And what is this made out of? Is this wood? What do we do at the edges here? Would there be this kind of effect of it wrapping around a bit more? And do we need to like have little orcs sitting in the seats jumping up and down? You know, that would be quite nice, wouldn't it? I mean, again, I like to have as many things animated as possible. And then maybe we would have like, yeah, so let's go with that. Let's go with that. And then so yeah, little seats, little dudes hopping up and down, or just static. We'll see. And then basically it can upgrade to have like, yeah, like a place for the chief, but then you wouldn't be able to see him so well at the kind of distance we're thinking of. So yeah, little like tower marquee tent. Like we don't have to understand like the full structure behind it. Like what is this on? Where you could have like a little fire and maybe like a couple of orcs here that you can kind of imagine are. And again, at that distance, we're probably just talking like a little dots. But yeah, since you can see the humans that would be inside, it kind of makes sense to have them there. So not the humans, but the orcs. And so this would kind of be like a sort of sandy colour. And then, yeah, is this stone? Like, did they... Like, maybe it makes sense that this could have been some kind of, like, amphitheatre for the humans, you know, where they would do perfectly peaceful little plays, but the orcs have turned it into a little fighting pit. And, yeah, we've got our kind of barrier, boundary. And then at the top, a wooden structure that would have been built, like, on top. Except this would be like a tent. So yeah, let's use the same sort of colours here. That's a tent. And so these would be peripherals that would have to come on after. So let's make it work without them. Let's just clear this up. Make it empty for now. And then, like, shit, is that just too crap? Does it even look like what it is? Like, these are quite nice. These work quite well. But this, have we just totally dropped the ball? I think we kind of have. But, like, how do we make this look like what it's supposed to be? That's the struggle I've had with all the others. We can do a kind of mini similar structure for this tent here. I think it's probably fun. Just mimic the colors, so that's kind of like a consistent thing, and then we can just kind of like what we did. I mean, it would be cool if there were, like, actually at all times little mini orcs, and I kind of want this throughout the maps, like, to actually have little humans walking around, little orcs. It seems like maybe a stretch goal, but I just think that would be really fun. I don't even need to write it down, like, it's so present in my head. Like, I think I have it written somewhere, unless I deleted it. But so. And then we would kind of end up with also having these, like, big monuments on top, or, like, big flames. Like, yeah, what is just trying to think. So would the sand in the middle look cleaner? Do I want to do some kind of dithery effect to get a sense of sand? There's no paint bucket dither tool, unfortunately. I feel like there probably should be one. And then this would actually be like, yeah, so we can keep the outer bits. They can all be one color. And then, so obviously this doesn't work. But we can take... Does that look more like sand? I don't think it does. And then, like, the steps. Would they have darker bits? They need to be shaded. So, and how would that look, and what would be the best way to draw it? I mean, is it just... Like, where would the shading even be? Because I think I'm just going for these like little stone steps, and yeah, we don't have to overthink it. We just imagine that maybe there was, you know, like a theatre type vibe here, and the simplest way of having, you know, that the orcs would have reused. Otherwise, it would have to be wood. Like they would have had to actually make it. And then should it be like more even? And should this be less perfect, the circle? So let's just try again. So I'm going to do a less perfect circle. On the set, and I'll start small, let's say. So we just do a circle by hand. We take this color. Get our dithering tool, make it nice and big, and just do a bit of dithering in the middle. With actually the lighter color. And then you have like, I don't know, what tells you that something is like being used as a fight club? Like weapon racks on the wall? Or just, is it the circle of dudes that make it what it is, which is quite fun in its own way. But I guess they would be part of the scenery. So yeah, we do want to have. I did think about this before. Like we want tools so that we can quite easily change between buildings, and that they can have all kinds of peripherals that are attached. So maybe we would be using prefabs for that, or just kind of. I think prefabs is probably going to be the easiest thing. Yeah, it should be a bit of a pain to do, but it should be fine. So then we can have are orcs, and these won't be the like. So we'll have to make like, because the thing is, if I scale the orcs that I already have in the game like down, then the pixel ratio doesn't quite match. But we've got a few instances now where it would be good to have like small versions. But if they were just like they didn't have faces, if they were just like little eggs hopping up and down, and then when I highlight it, it's just the pit that gets highlighted. And then like level 2 would be and we'll always just keep the walls on the other side. So at level 2 maybe, yeah, they've like built some seating, and I guess we would see we would see so let's just say that's wood. We don't need to overthink it. And then that kind of like, yeah, each extra layer of seating would kind of come in a bit after the first one. Which kind of just looks like, now it kind of just looks like a sort of bun with some like Nutella on it or something. So it looks a bit weird. But, hopefully with the dudes on it. So again, like these are weird ones, and this is the stuff I really struggle with. But it's the kind of thing, like if I had an artist working for me, I would need to be clear on this anyway. They'd be like, what do you want? What do you mean? What perspective? And I'd have to have all these questions answered. Like, what do you mean it has seats? Like, and I kind of want them to think about it all, but at the same time, I want to save their time and money. Or I want to save my money and their time. So, a lot of this is just not having kind of the art direction for it. It's like, yeah, we want a place for them to fight. It has to be visible from that angle. We've already established that you can kind of, even though we're like head on, you can kind of have a little bit of perspective, and the size doesn't work at all. You just kind of put things in the foreground and background, and it tends to work. can you draw me? Can you design me like this? And I guess we would have like torches. This would definitely have to be shaded. Doesn't matter to get the perfect color now. What matters is that it is a different color. So I can color replace without issue. And then does this just look like more delicious Nutella, or does it start to look like seeds maybe? I think one of the things I might have to do is just move on, because it's just not coming to me. Or maybe this is fine, I don't know. But for now I think I want to move on to another thing. Because in a way the human town was easy, because we know all this. Okay, it's a church. We know what a church looks like. You start with a chapel, work your way up to church. What does a primal forge look like? And I kind of know it's like, especially with the sort of help from Warcraft a bit, it's like, yeah, you have like a TP for the, you know, spirit lodge type thing. And then how's that going to look with little dudes on them? Should we try drawing some little dudes? Let's go to the next layer, make a circle. So if we say that that's the size of a dude in relation to this map. And these would all have to individually be like jumping. And then we actually have two little dudes on the map. And they're all kind of hopping about. I mean, that means I have to do the little versions of the characters, which means I might have to do that for all factions, but they'll just be like 2 or 3, and these are like civilians, you know. Obviously orcs don't really have civilians, but that's why we use the same ones in the arena. Like, does that work? Is that an arena? I don't know. I think I might have just put some, I think this is bangers and mash with, this is mash with gravy and peas on it. So nothing like what I'm trying to draw. I mean, I think I did okay with these ones. So it's not like I can't do it, it's just I'm really not an artist, so it is a lot for me to say, okay, now do that, but for orcs. Goblin Trader, Slop House, Grog Bar. I mean, the Goblin Trader is fairly straightforward. I reckon for the Goblin Trader, it's going to be something like very similar to what I've done with the market here. I think we are just going to have a tent, so I'll draw a new tent from scratch. And it will just be, and I won't use lines, I'll use freehand. And it really is just, let's get my, well, it can't just be a tent, because it's like a market. I mean, so it's like we can almost have like perfect parity with this market. So we use the same kind of level 1, 2, 3, 4. So we start with, like, we could even just palette swap that. Goblin Market. Let's see if anything jumps out if I type Goblin Market into Google search. Look at that. I really prefer programming and shit. Goblin. Okay, that's a book with a cover. Goblin Market Stall. Yeah, I mean, it's basically the same as what I had with the... Like, it's the same as the market. But we could just do a palette swap. And we could kind of do it with, like... So we have... Hello? I'm pressing on the other app. It's not using the shortcut. There we go. We have, like, the horns. So it's kind of like, maybe this is a bit cheap, but you kind of have to take your... Do reskins where appropriate, right? And this kind of has that, like, horn vibe. Using bones structure, I think that's like a cool orc thing, isn't it? That's hard to get this. I actually want to, like, because it's hard to draw like such a thin bit. This is our bone color. So I actually want to like get into those corners wherever possible. I think that ends up being a good look for them. And then we color this with this. So we're using that sort of same weaker leather for this. I feel like this will look better. And there's our market stall. And then we kind of just do the same thing. And maybe it's a bit lazy, but that is actually a copy already of the other side. So if we just did the same thing. And then like maybe they're eating something else. They're eating like, well, this is, none of this would be food. This would just be like weapons and stuff. So we would want to have like blacks and reds. They're not eating bread, they're like, I don't know, what would that be? Just like meat. I think it's actually going to be easier to, because I think the goods there are fine. Maybe that is a bit cheeky, but it just builds part of the picture. Again, I do actually want to see the scene, so let's get onto that. We've got our base. The way I like to do it is to switch this one off. Hello. Damn it. Switch this one off. Make a copy. And make this one start to look like the orc one. So this one would have wooden palisades instead of walls, but also, yeah, let's just... So the castle would be, what do we call it? Chief tent. Chief's tent. I think it has to be exact so it can find it by name in the script, and then this would be, so yeah, let's export this. Yeah, this is going to be all over the place, but that's fine. And so we need that. Put our default settings. Do I optimize my games? Yeah, absolutely. Optimize my games. It's definitely worth doing. So do what you can to make sure that the game runs well. Yeah, absolutely. To wait by 1 to 8, pivot at the bottom, apply that, and then we could take this one for example. Oh, let's take this one, Chief's tent, and we go war camp buildings 0. There it is. I think it's way off the bottom, which looks weird, so we just need to bring that down. Both layers. Hello? Did that not do? I save it in the wrong place. There we are. I think I just needed a nudge. Okay. Yeah, we're going to want buildings with all kind of peripherals like the flags and maybe little fires and stuff. Okay. And then the ground here, I did actually end up thinking, like, because we're not doing, like we're not in the Barrens. Again, like, we're not in, like, proper orc territory. We're in... oh, maybe we could have a few tents in the world map for the orcs. Yeah, I'm going to put that on. But that maybe the grass wouldn't be quite so good here, right? Like, because they're going to be on grassy land. They're in our territory. They're on human land. But maybe the grass isn't so good. But then how do I show that? Do I have to make a new grass texture? Do I have to make a new ground texture? I mean, I guess one thing I could do is the wooden palisade walls. I feel like I should just go ahead and do that. So let's get one of these, find our bases, and we'll wall. Save as, wall camp, wall. And I basically want to get like a wooden palace, a wooden spike. Let's just put it all the way down to the bottom for now. And I guess that the spike would be like shaved at the top, so it would be like a lighter wood color at the top. It feels too orange. Huh. Is that the right color? For shaved wood? Let's say it is. Okay, and then I guess we would want that followed by another one that is maybe like lower down, and then we kind of do it like that throughout. So there wouldn't be that gap there. And then how does that actually look? So we can go ahead and delete everything else. I mean, yeah, it's the way I did it with the wall. It's easier just to have a bigger texture than it is to like make some kind of repeating thing. So let's see how this looks at scale. Let's get the bottoms right. Although I think that for the bottoms I might... Yeah, I guess it's just the same principle, kind of. It's just a bit of a shape to it. Again, we try and hide it with bushes. As you can see in this scene, I just put bushes all along the bottom. It kind of obscures whatever we did to get our bottom line. Not bottom line in the usual sense of the word. Okay, yeah, so if I just extend that across, I think that'll look good. So we'll do... Very pro stuff here. This is how they do it at the big leagues. I don't know. It does feel like this is not the super duper professional way, but I mean, I guess that like a real artist would just draw the whole wall and they wouldn't have a problem with that. I should probably test how this is going to look. Before doing the whole thing, but we're almost there, so it's fine. Okay. So then we put that in with our normal... Oh, did I not get to the edge? I didn't. Oh my god. Preset, it's a single, but is it a single with the pivot at the bottom? I think it is. So apply that, and then this, we just take this and replace. Ah, is it a material? Okay, let's do that then. Yeah, alright. Might not be the best way, but let's just continue with what we have. Let's not redesign shit like that. So if it's a material, and of course the material is stored exactly where it's supposed to be in my root assets folder. That's the best place to keep it. I'm joking. Wall camp. We'll put that on instead. I trust that's doing it. And then the albedo of this is wall camp wall. Unfortunately, a tile's fine. So yeah, that's about right. It kind of looks like these wooden palisades. Maybe they should be a bit thicker. But actually, like, compared to, you know... So then now I already get a sense of, like, what the grass color should be. I mean, we could just go for, like, yeah, we could go for yellow grass. So let's try and find that sort of... I don't know why we've got two here, I think. Old setup. So, but, like, yellow, not like Baron's yellow, but, like, Spanish grass yellow. Like, summer grass, basically. Like, drained of all its lovely green colour. And then that leaves the tufts, where I kind of feel like, can I just like fudge the colour of the tufts? Can I just mess with the colour? I can. Okay. Can I fudge the colour of the bushes? I'm sort of imagining, yeah, like, just this little spot has yellowish grass. And I can kind of I could do that on the map maybe as well. You see how the brain has to go to so many different things. I think the road is fine. We keep the road. But basically, now the bushes stick out. So can I just mess with those bushes? I mean, really, I should make, like, we should have our own bush for this area. But can I just... Is that better? It's still always going to have the hint of green, because like what I should do is have a white one, or just make a new bush that is the color that I want. But if I can just like fudge it, maybe I should. Maybe I'm getting lazy. But like that's just like a bit more yellow. Doesn't stand out as much. Or do we just want to get rid of the bushes entirely? Actually, we can quite easily just like switch off trees. And then it's the green of the houses, but let's say we didn't have houses, and we will have tents. So that should be a fun addition. Houses. Gone. And so then let's do the market. And then we've sort of got this palette here. It feels orcish. It feels... I think this is kind of working. So then if we have like... I mean, yeah, let's just try... And actually, yeah, the chief's tent would be closer. So it makes sense that it's bigger. And let's say the church is the arena. So we can just start to sort of see what we've got, how what we've got so far looks. Yeah, and it's going to be weird because the side of the building is going to be like way up. So I wonder if maybe the solution to this is not to have an arena. Is to say, actually, based on the drawings we have so far and the way that these look so far, an arena doesn't actually look good in this style. So the solution is maybe just to not have an arena. Right? Just unless we did some funny stuff. Let's try some funny stuff. So for one thing, first thing is that it should be on the floor, and let's just be looking at the sandpit one, because we might need to like, this might need to be like flat with the other parts of the building coming up the sides, which is going to be awkward as hell, but let's see. Let's see. So this would actually be rotated to be flat. Is it the building here? No? Okay, yeah, so this would be 90. And then it like parallaxes properly. So I didn't mean to do that. Right, and then we've got like, and then that kind of just makes it a bit different, and then we'll have another building that's like behind it, which is like the bit that you actually have to click on. I think that kind of works. And so we would have like some stacks, like just like a row of seating. So already, and it's okay. Like, so for example, I wanted to have flags on this building as separate from the building, but because at the moment it's quite nice. You just go, oh, you've opened. We point to the sprite on the list that is the same as like what level of upgrade you are, but we don't just want sprites. We want other things too. We want sprites that are going to like additional sprites. We want waving flags and fire and chimneys that, you know. So yeah, we're kind of committed to using like prefab game objects rather than sprites for each tier of building. That's okay, we'll get used to that. And we'll have to be a bit more sophisticated with the highlight. Okay, yeah, but I'm okay with that. Kind of gives us more freedom. So, and yeah, it'll be something similar to this for the summoning circle as well. So yeah, we'll just have like a building, and then how do I lay it out in this file, I wonder? So we would have, I guess it's just not going to be like very much paint by numbers. But that looks fine drawn as some, like I think if I drew it flat, so you'd think if it was a circle, then by this perspective it should, like I wouldn't have to change it. I don't know. Let's test that. So I think we can safely get rid of that. So I want to test a couple things, and we can get rid of that. I want to test that. I want to test as an actual circle. So it would be like, so that's still kind of a fudged circle, but oh, come on. Is that really? Those aren't the same colour. So one colour is that, and the other colour is that. So if I do dithering, why is dithering not working? Okay, now it's working. Did it just need a little kick? I wonder. This is why you should never do all in one stroke. So do it, because then it's easy. You want to make it easy to Control Z out of it. And sadly, there's no like paint bucket tool for the dithering. So I have to do it by hand. Okay. And then I guess the other thing I want to test is like big. So big oblong. Try that again. I think I won't bother with the dithered circle. Can hear my kid having a tantrum downstairs. Sure, it'll be fine. And then yeah, another come on. Big, more circle shape. Still a bit oblong, I guess. I think it's the opposite of a tantrum. I think they're having fun. Never mind. They're laughing, crying. I think she's tickling them, so that's good. That's nicer than knowing that they're going through a tantrum. Okay, so we'll export that. And we'll sort of try that. We'll see what sort of ends up making the most sense. So this is big circle, I think. So we got big oblong, looks like that. So we will actually have to so that feels too big. But that, from this perspective, that's kind of what makes sense. But yeah, we wouldn't use all that space. And then does it make sense if it's so like, let's think of the small one, but the circle or the oblong? Because there's so many tricks that are happening with like, or just so many inconsistencies with perspective anyway. That's just part and parcel. It kind of, even though that's the correct setup, like, I mean, it would look like a circle from above, but from here it kind of makes it feel stretched, which is weird, isn't it? I don't know. I find it funny how this turns out. So then we would want to go small pancake. And we can put it a little bit into the distance. And we'll want to get rid of the tufts of grass around it. Should I just... Nice, okay. And And then let's wiggle the camera a bit. I think that is the best configuration. So a little sandy bit on the floor. It's an oblong, so I don't draw a circle and trust that it'll look good enough tilted. And then basically I think we would have like little stalls. So should we put that on the same sprite sheet? I guess we should. But we've kind of got space. I'm kind of breaking my routine here. But yeah, we've got a flat one. So we would start with a small one and work our way up to a bigger one. Did that one work? The wide, flat one? How did that feel? Yeah, and I guess this arena, this building's a big deal. Let me actually just get rid of that, because... So, like... The thing is, if we're going to have rafters on the sides... So actually maybe... This version... And then it can get even bigger than that. But if we have rafters on the sides and the back... And it starts off as a kind of like even smaller thing. Yeah, I think that works. Like it starts off as that, but with like a little kind of... Yeah, little viewing stairs there. Or yeah, no, just the dudes fighting here and you mouse over that and then it gets the raft thing at the back and then it will get the ones at the front and then it will have some kind of ornament for like the boss to watch the fight, I guess. So that's what we're doing with Arena. See how fucking long it can take to make one of these buildings. I've got a lot to make. Especially when I have to figure out like how it's actually going to work. So we would then draw on the same sprite sheet. So we'll just keep that as it is. And we just kind of treat the sprite sheet a bit differently. So then we've got little stairs to go behind it. So let's get our slightly off black. And we do like a little building. Should I do straight lines? Should I do it by hand? Little building. Would they maybe have like some sun cover? I don't think they would care about that. I think we're just looking at like some kind of like a wooden version of what you'd expect to see at like a school, you know, rafters. So then we've got steps. Do we have to worry about how they're getting to their seats? No, they just kind of clamber in, right? So it'd be a bunch of steps. And then, so we'll do wood color. And then we'll actually, yeah, kind of like we did before. I think it doesn't look bad. And then, yeah, let's do, yeah, wood color and then darker wood color. And then we just paint across. Wouldn't it be the seats that are catching more light? Right? The seats would be catching more light than the backs of the seats. Am I wrong about that? So actually, so try my best to draw it like halfway across, like halfway between. And then I think what's going to make these look like seats is having people sit on them more so than the actual drawing themselves, because obviously I'm not doing the best job at this. I don't know, this doesn't look like chairs to me. This looks like a cake with layers. And then in like the perspective, it might actually like, but we are dealing with a low resolution here. And then so we would take this color to do these bits, kind of like inner rafters, but then I guess we would have lots of like just kind of I kind of tempted to just do like random black lines, just kind of like structure. Yeah, wherever the color changes. And then hopefully that kind of looks like some sort of rickety, I don't know, something you could imagine that the orcs made. They're not the best, or the goblins more likely, not the best craftsmen in the world, but they can make some stairs so they can watch fights together. Okay, so if we had that, and that is really a simple shape, but let's just, you know, so much to this is how to draw when you can't draw. I think that might be one of my next videos, actually. It's like how to draw when you can't draw. Here's some things you can try. Okay. And so this will need another looking. Okay, that's fine for now. And then so this arena building would have another sprite renderer. Which is tilted at 10 to match the camera, which is using this image and is into the background. Okay, so for one thing, like, this is too big. If there's dudes sitting on it and dudes on the side, it will be clear what's happening. But that's way too big. That's, yeah, I'm using the whole thing when I don't need to. Would simply sizing it down work? Can I just like get rid of the middle, fudge them in together, so we get rid of the middle. Let's get rid of this whole chunk, plaster them back together. Don't worry about the lines. Get rid of the top layer, basically. Just fudge that done. Lazy as possible. Okay, it might just be quicker just to do this bit again. Okay, might need to rethink this, but I think this works for now. Hello? Okay, it's a bit more. But then those chairs look really big. But then I guess, like, again, so here's a unit for reference. That's kind of like, yeah, I think those chairs are too big. Okay, well, it's 4:10. I think I'm going to watch the stream there. I'm going to, but really great turnout today. Thanks for everyone who joined. Really appreciate it. Yeah, really appreciate it. Really helps me a lot. Helps my motivation. So thanks so much for that. Thanks for engaging. And I will be back tomorrow. Stay, like, you should get a notification for when I'll be on, but if not the morning, then the afternoon. So have a good evening. Cheers, and I'll see you soon. Cheers. Bye.